What's up, folks? Sean, the Average Angler here, and we got another video for you. And this one's gonna kind of piggyback off of yesterday's video because I mentioned something at the end of that video that will help you catch more fish, okay? Actually, I mentioned 5 different things. It was kind of the 5th one, skipping. That really requires a little bit more so that you can get going in that. And I'm gonna tell you, it's pretty easy. Give it 5-10 minutes in your driveway or in the street. You just need a smooth surface, okay? You can't do it on grass, it'll just stop. I do it in my driveway. I have a regular cement driveway. My driveway's a little longer. You might need to go out to a sidewalk if you have a sidewalk. If not, you can use a street as long as it's not an interstate. I don't know why I felt it necessary to say that. And then you want to kind of get the cast. You don't want to overcast. Nice smooth motion, and as you start to get the feel, you can get a little more into it. If your bait bounces, it means you threw it down into the water if you were on water, and it's not going to skip at all. It's just going to go down. On the cement, it should skip nicely and just take line out nice and smooth. Now, the beauty of learning on cement, well, where I'm doing it, there's nothing to hit. If you're skipping into targets, under docks, those kinds of things, if you hit something in the middle of the skip, you're gonna backlash. It's gonna overrun. It happens to everybody. Gerald Swindle, Andy Morgan, they all backlash when they hit something. As long as you're good with your thumb, you can stop it quicker than some others, okay? With the tape, you're not gonna have to worry about it. The beauty of the tape is it keeps the backlash from going any deeper than you put it, which means it's pretty easy to get out. So it's going to save us time, it's going to save us line, because line can be expensive. All right, let's get to that. Line, I did not mention, okay? 20-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon is what I use. You can use 20, Seeger, your brand, whatever, 18 to 20. Lighter makes it more difficult in the backlash aspect. Heavier line actually works better. With your jig, I suggest a 1/2 ounce. I know you don't think it will skip as well, but it actually skips better than a 3/8. You have more surface area. And you see with the Arkie style jig, you have that flat surface area, okay? If you go to 3/8, you're giving up surface area. It's the same reason why I have the flat trailer. All right, now, I did mention, or I want to mention, that there are a couple of per se skipping reels out there. One is a Shimano SLX Curado DC. They have a skip mode. It's setting number 4. If you have those, great, use them. If you don't, the tape method will work just fine. The other one is a Lews. I'll put it down in the description. It's pro something. It is a skipping specific reel. It has a much shallower spool, so it doesn't hold as much line. You can achieve the same thing with a piece of tape. Don't go spend extra money just for that reel. If you have it, great. You don't need to spend money. What I do suggest with skipping is a good quality reel, okay? Y'all know I'm doing some Cast King testing, some budget reel testing. Quite honestly, I would not use those for skipping, okay? It's not a knock on them, but the budget ones do not have the type of braking system that the better or the higher priced reels have, okay? You do need the braking system for skipping until you get really, really, really good. And quite honestly, I don't know why you would want to do it with those, because then if you make a mistake, it's going to be worse. So let's use a quality reel, okay? Anything in the Tatula line, Curado and up, unless you go with the SLX, may work great. But if you get the DC models, the DCs do have the skip setting, okay? Start out with your magnetic brake adjustment higher rather than lower. You can always ease some back, which is what I just did when I made the skipping video that you are about to see, okay? I started out with it at 18, 16, somewhere around there, and I worked it down to 8. I could keep going, It's just, I don't need to, okay? I'm getting the distance that I would want to skip. I mean, 50 foot is plenty of distance most of the time for skipping. Learn with the jig. Once you learn with the jig, you can start adding some other things in there, okay? Buzz baits you can skip. You can spinner baits. They're not gonna skip as well. What skips really well is soft glide baits. Soft glide baits are probably some of the best skipping baits I've ever seen. They're so easy. I don't suggest using those on cement because they're very expensive and you're sacrificing a bait. That's self-explanatory. That you can then start skipping, you know, shaky heads, Texas rig baits. You do need, when skipping Texas rig baits, you do need to peg the weight. If the bait hits the water, the weight separates, now all of a sudden you got 2 points of contact, they're gonna stop your skip. Work on this, get accurate. Once you feel comfortable skipping, maybe put some targets out there or just pick something in your head, say, I wanna shoot for that, and try to hit it, okay? If it goes too far, but it ran right through that target, you hit your target. That's good. Okay, if the shoreline's back there, it's just going to hit the shoreline. Now, one of the benefits of skipping is we all know when shad or bait fish are being chased, a lot of times they skip across the surface. To a fish that's down underneath there and all of a sudden something comes skipping above them, I think it triggers them. I think it puts our senses on high alert and, oh boy, there's food here. Because when you are skipping and you get bit, most of the time the bite comes very, very quickly, okay? Hence, you need a heavy action rod. Now, you don't want to go too heavy. This, like I said, 7'1", heavy, fast action. This is a specific skipping rod. If you go too heavy, it's much harder to cast. You want the rod tip to load up a little bit. So pay attention to your lure rating. This one is 1/4 to 1.5 ounce. You could use a medium heavy rod also, okay? It helps if the tip loads a little and helps launch that thing for you. You want to keep the bait low to the water or the cement, and it should skip. When you're going on cement, a good way to know you're doing a good one is if it's just skipping all the way across. Again, if it bounces up like this. Okay, let's do a little skipping here on the driveway, and this is a great place for you to practice and learn. If your bait bounces off the driveway, then it means you probably threw it down too much. And that's where my tape is. See, that one bounced. Then you threw it down and it bounced up and you would not have skipped. You're gonna do it. I was doing it until you get the groove going. These old bones take a little bit to warm up. I don't know about everybody else, but when you're learning, you're gonna make mistakes. That's okay. Keep trying, use the tape so you don't backlash, and let me know how it goes for you, all right? Because I know you're gonna be really excited about when you're out there doing this and you're fishing with your buddy and you skip up under the dock and he's like, whoa, how'd you do that? Because, you know, you just hit somewhere where 90% of the people aren't going to be able to hit, and guess what? Fish hide out in those places. That means I threw it down a little too much. We don't want bouncing. And I am going to remove my tape and add some line so I can pitch a little further, because it will stop your line. The beauty of this is it's going to keep your line from backlashing. All right. See, there was a perfect example of me throwing it down. That was perfect. You don't have to start your skip right away. If you try to throw it too hard, you're liable to get a backlash, get a little out of control. You don't need to throw it too hard. See, there was a perfect example of hitting the ground. Now, to get a little extra distance out of it as it's skipping, you want to raise your rod as it's skipping slowly. Watch, I'll show you here. That was a good skip. That was a bad skip. Good skip. Now, once you start getting numbers of skips in a row that are good, start picking a target to throw at. We'll go for the sidewalk that meets over there to my front door. That's pretty good. If I didn't hit the tan bark, I would have been right there. Bad skip again. Really bad skip. So you'll see this is a pretty good test for you to know if you're doing it right or not, because if it bounces high up in the air, it's not a good skip. So we'll try shortening the line at the end of the rod tip a little bit. I had about double that. Perfect. So it's just a little roll cast. About a foot to 14 inches of line out there. And there you have it. Practice a little bit. Before you know it, you will need no tape on your rod and you'll be an expert too. Sean, the average angler, thanks for watching. Enjoy the skipping demo wherever I put it, before, after, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. See you on the next one.